Have you ever wondered what really makes a leader successful? Welcome to part 2 of our series exploring the 30 best books on leadership and entrepreneurship. In this first video, we'll dive into 5 of these top books, examining their most important lessons and providing practical advice you can apply directly to your own journey. This isn't just a summary, it's a deep dive into some of the best thinking on leadership and entrepreneurial success. Let's get started. Dare to Lead by Brené Brown focuses on vulnerability and courage as essential components of leadership. Dare to Lead by Brené Brown is a guide to developing courageous and empathetic leadership. Brown, a research professor known for her work on vulnerability and shame, argues that true leadership is built on authenticity, connection, and a willingness to confront uncomfortable truths. Through research-based insights, she outlines strategies for leaders to embrace vulnerability, build trust, and create work environments where people feel valued and safe to take risks. One of Brown's key principles is that vulnerability is not weakness, but a pathway to courage. Vulnerability involves being open to uncertainty, risk, and emotional exposure, which allows leaders to forge deeper connections with their teams. Brown asserts that by modeling vulnerability, leaders foster trust and authenticity, encouraging team members to share ideas, admit mistakes, and approach challenges without fear of judgment. Empathy and connection are central to Brown's approach, as she believes that leaders must truly understand the perspectives and emotions of their team members. By listening openly and without judgment, leaders create a sense of belonging, which increases team morale and engagement. Brown advises leaders to practice rumbling with vulnerability, having honest, sometimes difficult conversations where both leaders and team members can express concerns openly. These conversations allow teams to address issues collaboratively, fostering a culture of transparency. Brown also discusses the importance of clarity and communication. Leaders often avoid tough conversations, which can lead to misunderstandings and resentment. Brown emphasizes that clear is kind, unclear is unkind, and encourages leaders to provide direct, compassionate feedback that supports growth rather than criticism. This approach helps people know where they stand and understand how they can improve, contributing to personal and organizational development. The concept of values-based leadership is also vital in Brown's framework. Leaders must identify and live by their core values, guiding their decisions and actions with integrity. This consistency helps teams understand what their leaders stand for and builds trust. Brown emphasizes that organizations benefit when each member identifies and aligns with core values, creating a unified, purpose-driven culture. Another significant aspect is cultivating a resilient mindset. Brown encourages leaders to face failures and setbacks with openness and curiosity, seeing them as opportunities for growth. By developing resilience and a willingness to learn from mistakes, leaders and teams alike can navigate challenges with greater confidence and adaptability. Brown advocates for brave spaces over safe spaces, challenging leaders to create environments where team members feel safe to take risks and embrace challenges rather than fearing failure. In these brave spaces, innovation and creativity flourish as employees feel empowered to contribute without fear of reprimand. Leaders who foster brave spaces encourage experimentation, fostering an environment where growth is celebrated and failure is viewed as a learning opportunity. Finally, Brown highlights the need for boundaries in leadership. She believes that boundaries are essential for sustaining energy, preventing burnout, and maintaining respect within teams. By setting clear boundaries, leaders can protect their own well-being and create a balanced workplace culture. Key takeaways: in Dare to Lead, Brené Brown provides a roadmap for leaders seeking to foster trust, empathy, and resilience within their teams. Emphasizing vulnerability, empathy, clarity, values, resilience, and boundaries, Brown's framework promotes an inclusive and courageous work culture where team members feel safe to contribute and grow. By modeling vulnerability, embracing open communication, and building brave spaces, leaders can create environments that inspire innovation, accountability, and sustainable success. Start with Why by Simon Sinek emphasizes the importance of understanding the purpose behind what we do. In Start with Why, Simon Sinek explores the power of purpose-driven leadership and the importance of understanding and communicating a clear why. Sinek argues that great leaders and organizations inspire by articulating a purpose beyond profit, creating loyal followers who share in their vision. This why, the underlying reason or belief behind actions, serves as the foundation for authentic, enduring success. Through examples from influential leaders and companies, Sinek demonstrates that purpose-driven leadership builds trust, drives innovation, and fosters a sense of belonging. Central to Sinek's approach is the Golden Circle model, which includes 3 concentric circles: why, how, and what. Most leaders communicate from the outside in, starting with what they do and how they do it, but truly impactful leaders communicate from the inside out, beginning with why. The why defines the core belief or mission of the organization, which inspires others and creates an emotional connection. The how represents the values and principles that bring the why to life, and the what is the tangible product or service. By starting with why, leaders connect with audiences on an emotional level, fostering loyalty and inspiring action. Sinek uses Apple as a primary example, showing how its why, challenging the status quo and empowering individual creativity, has driven its success. Apple's purpose appeals to customers who share similar values, which creates a community of loyal followers rather than just customers. This purpose-first approach differentiates Apple from competitors who focus solely on products rather than an underlying mission. Leadership and trust are core themes in the book. Sinek argues that people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. When leaders articulate a clear purpose, they attract employees and customers who believe in the same mission. This shared sense of purpose builds trust and creates a sense of belonging. People are more likely to support a cause they feel emotionally connected to, which fosters loyalty and drives sustainable growth. Sinek also discusses the difference between manipulation and inspiration in leadership. Manipulative tactics like discounts or promotions may yield short-term results but do not build lasting loyalty. In contrast, leaders who inspire through a strong sense of purpose cultivate long-term relationships with employees and customers alike, leading to more resilient organizations. Furthermore, clarity, discipline, and consistency are essential for realizing the why. Clarity of purpose ensures that everyone in the organization understands the mission. Discipline in adhering to values ensures actions align with the purpose, and consistency in communicating the why builds credibility and trust over time. This alignment between purpose, values, and behavior helps organizations stay true to their mission even as they grow. Sinek believes that the most successful leaders create environments where people feel empowered to contribute toward a meaningful cause. By connecting people to a larger purpose, leaders inspire commitment, creativity, and collaboration, which in turn drives innovation and resilience within the organization. Key takeaways. In Start With Why, Simon Sinek argues that purpose-driven leadership is essential for building trust, inspiring action, and achieving lasting success. By defining a clear why, communicating it consistently, and aligning all actions with this purpose, leaders can build loyal teams and customer bases that share in their mission. The Golden Circle model provides a framework for understanding how starting with why fosters meaningful relationships, drives innovation, and creates organizations that inspire both their employees and their customers. Thinking Fast and Slow by Daniel Kahneman offers insights into human decision-making and cognitive biases. In Thinking Fast and Slow, Nobel laureate Daniel Kahneman explores the 2 modes of thinking that drive human behavior: System 1 and System 2. System 1, or fast thinking, is automatic, intuitive, and effortless. It quickly processes information and makes snap judgments based on experience, patterns, and biases. System 2, or slow thinking, is deliberate, logical, and requires effort, kicking in when we need to analyze complex problems, make reasoned choices, or correct errors from System 1. Kahneman argues that while System 1 is vital for making quick, everyday decisions, it is also prone to biases and errors, which can mislead us in high-stakes situations. A core theme in the book is how cognitive biases shape our decisions and behavior, often without our awareness. Kahneman introduces numerous biases, including anchoring, where initial information influences subsequent decisions, the availability heuristic, where people assess the likelihood of an event based on how easily they can recall similar instances, and the confirmation bias, where individuals favor information that aligns with their pre-existing beliefs. These biases stem from System 1 and affect our judgments, leading to errors even when we believe we're being rational. Kahneman also examines the concept of loss aversion, which suggests that people feel losses more acutely than gains of the same value. This bias is central to his theory of prospect theory, which won him the Nobel Prize in economics. According to prospect theory, people make decisions based not on absolute outcomes, but on perceived gains or losses relative to a reference point. This often causes irrational choices, such as holding onto a losing investment longer than necessary due to the pain of realizing a loss. The overconfidence effect is another key focus, describing how people often have excessive faith in their abilities and judgments, which can lead to risky decisions. Kahneman argues that overconfidence, especially in complex or uncertain fields, can cause us to overlook potential pitfalls and underestimate the difficulty of tasks. He emphasizes that intuition can be beneficial in some cases, but is unreliable in complex situations where decisions require evidence and careful analysis. Although System 1's instincts often provide quick answers, Kahneman warns that blind reliance on intuition can mislead us, especially in fields like finance, where unpredictable outcomes require data-driven thinking. The book also explores the endowment effect, where people value what they own more than what they don't, simply because it's theirs. This phenomenon influences behavior in various ways, from consumer choices to financial decisions, making people reluctant to part with possessions or investments, even when rational decision-making would suggest otherwise. In his discussion of mental accounting, Kahneman shows how people compartmentalize money and treat it differently depending on context. This leads to irrational spending patterns, such as splurging on a vacation while being frugal in other areas, which reveals how subjective factors impact financial decisions. Kahneman concludes with practical insights into how individuals and organizations can mitigate cognitive biases. By recognizing the limitations of intuition, incorporating data and feedback into decisions, and encouraging a culture of questioning assumptions, we can better navigate complex choices. He encourages organizations to adopt processes that account for human biases and to use structured decision-making practices to reduce errors. Key takeaways. Thinking Fast and Slow provides a deep dive into the two systems of thought and the cognitive biases that affect decision-making. Kahneman emphasizes the importance of understanding how biases like loss aversion, overconfidence, and the endowment effect shape our choices. By becoming aware of these cognitive traps, individuals and organizations can approach decisions more rationally, use data more effectively, and mitigate the limitations of intuitive thinking. Kahneman's insights serve as a valuable guide for making better choices in both personal and professional life, helping us understand when to trust our instincts and when to slow down and engage in deliberate analysis. The Innovator's Dilemma by Clayton Christensen explains why successful companies fail when they ignore disruptive technologies. The Innovator's Dilemma by Clayton Christensen explores why successful companies often fail when faced with disruptive innovations. Christensen argues that established companies excel at improving existing products for current customers, a process known as sustaining innovation. However, they often struggle to respond to disruptive innovations, simpler, cheaper alternatives that initially appeal to a niche or lower-end market but eventually reshape the industry. Christensen's analysis highlights how these disruptions change the rules of competition and can displace even the most dominant market players. A core concept in the book is disruptive innovation. Unlike sustaining innovations, which improve products for established markets, disruptive innovations target overlooked customer segments with products that are often lower in performance but cheaper, more accessible, or more convenient. As these innovations improve over time, they attract a larger market share, eventually overtaking traditional products. Christensen uses examples from industries like computing, steel manufacturing, and automotive to illustrate how disruptive products from smaller companies led to the decline of industry giants that failed to adapt. He explains that successful companies are often too focused on meeting the demands of their most profitable customers, causing them to overlook new technologies that don't initially appeal to their existing clientele. This focus, while rational from a business perspective, blinds these companies to the potential of disruptive innovations until it's too late. By the time they recognize the threat, disruptive competitors may already have established a significant market presence. The book introduces the concept of the innovator's dilemma, where companies face the tough choice between satisfying existing customers and investing in disruptive technologies. When companies prioritize their current high-margin customers, they often miss out on emerging opportunities, which ultimately leads to decline. Christensen argues that companies need a balance of short-term gains with long-term vision to remain relevant. Christensen also examines organizational structures and incentives that make it difficult for established companies to pursue disruptive innovation. Large organizations often resist changes that disrupt their existing models, and internal cultures, metrics, and profit targets prioritize sustaining innovations over disruptive ones. This creates a cycle where companies pour resources into existing products, while smaller competitors use agility and lower-cost innovations to gain market traction. To address the innovator's dilemma, Christensen suggests that companies set up independent teams or skunkworks units to explore disruptive innovations. These teams operate separately from the main business, enabling them to take risks, test new ideas, and serve emerging markets without being constrained by the expectations of the core company. By creating a dedicated space for experimentation, companies can harness disruptive innovation without compromising their existing business. Christensen's research also challenges the idea that customers always know what they want. He argues that disruptive innovations often fulfill unmet needs that customers themselves haven't yet identified. Therefore, companies must look beyond current customer feedback and market trends to anticipate future needs. This approach requires leaders to take calculated risks and invest in innovations that may initially seem unprofitable or impractical. Key takeaways. The innovator's dilemma presents a roadmap for understanding and responding to disruptive change. Christensen argues that companies must be willing to embrace disruptive innovation, even if it initially conflicts with existing business models. By recognizing the limitations of traditional growth strategies, establishing independent teams for disruptive ventures, and staying attuned to emerging customer needs, companies can avoid the innovator's dilemma and remain competitive. Christensen's work is a call to action for leaders to build organizations that are adaptable, forward-thinking, and capable of thriving in dynamic industries. Drive: The Surprising Truth About What Motivates Us, by Daniel H. Pink, explores the science of motivation and what drives people to succeed. In Drive, Daniel H. Pink explores the science of human motivation, challenging traditional ideas about how to inspire people in the workplace. Pink argues that the conventional carrot-and-stick approach, which relies on external rewards and punishments, is outdated and often counterproductive in the modern economy. Instead, Pink presents a new framework based on three intrinsic motivators: autonomy, mastery, and purpose, which he believes drive higher performance, creativity, and satisfaction. Pink begins by explaining the limitations of extrinsic motivators, or what he calls Motivation 2.0. This system, rooted in rewards and penalties, is effective for straightforward tasks, but undermines engagement and creativity when applied to more complex, cognitive work. When individuals are focused solely on rewards, they tend to take fewer risks, make safer choices, and avoid innovative thinking. Pink uses psychological studies to demonstrate how monetary incentives can actually reduce performance on tasks requiring problem-solving and creativity. Autonomy is the first pillar of Pink's framework and refers to the human desire for control over one's work. When employees are given the freedom to choose how and when they complete tasks, they are more engaged and invested in the outcomes. Pink cites examples from companies like Google, which allow employees 20% time to work on personal projects. This autonomy fosters innovation, as people have the freedom to pursue ideas that align with their interests and strengths. The second key component is mastery, which is the drive to improve and develop skills. Pink argues that people are inherently motivated to get better at things that matter to them, and they derive satisfaction from seeing progress. He emphasizes the importance of creating a work environment that encourages learning, feedback, and growth. In such settings, individuals are more likely to take on challenges and persevere, which ultimately leads to a more skilled and committed workforce. Purpose, the third pillar, is the sense of contributing to something larger than oneself. People are more motivated when they feel that their work has meaning and aligns with a greater mission. Pink argues that organizations with a clear, socially meaningful purpose see higher engagement and lower turnover. He provides examples of companies like Patagonia and Tom's, whose employees are driven by the knowledge that their work has a positive social impact. Purpose not only fuels individual motivation but also fosters a collective sense of belonging and pride within the organization. Pink also introduces the concept of Type 1 behavior, where individuals are motivated by intrinsic rewards rather than external incentives. He explains that Type 1 people are typically more fulfilled and productive because they are driven by an internal sense of accomplishment. Unlike traditional Type X individuals who rely on extrinsic motivators, Type 1 individuals seek out challenges and are more resilient when facing setbacks. The book outlines practical steps for creating a motivating environment, emphasizing the importance of fostering a culture that values autonomy, encourages skill development, and connects work to a meaningful purpose. Pink argues that organizations need to rethink their management practices to empower employees rather than control them. Key takeaways. Drive presents a powerful case for moving away from external rewards and adopting a motivation model rooted in autonomy, mastery, and purpose. Pink's research shows that by creating work environments that prioritize these intrinsic motivators, leaders can inspire employees to bring their best ideas and efforts to the table. This approach not only improves performance but also leads to greater satisfaction and engagement, making it an essential strategy for organizations in today's knowledge-driven economy. So, there you have it. 5 of the top 30 books that can truly transform your approach to leadership and entrepreneurship. Each book offers unique strategies, real-life insights, and powerful lessons designed to shape you into the leader and entrepreneur you aspire to be. What's the best way to start? Choose one book that resonates with you at this moment. Whether you're looking to strengthen your mindset, grow your business, or enhance team dynamics, there's a book here for every stage of your journey. Remember, these aren't just books to read, they're action guides. Challenge yourself to implement the ideas you discover, take notes, and see how they align with your leadership style. Growth happens when we actively apply what we learn and make it our own. If you found value in this video, please subscribe and check out the other parts of this 6-part series. Hit the like button and share this with anyone who could benefit from these powerful readings. And we want to hear from you. Share your favorite leadership or entrepreneurship book in the comments below, and let's keep the conversation going. Together, we can help each other become the leaders we're meant to be.